was my business, but I was the president of my own company. That was so cool because we sold stock, we voted on officers, we created a product, we made a product, we sold the product, we made money, and then what we did is we paid money back to our stockholders, which doesn't happen today much. It's like, you buy stock and then then it goes from here down here. Anyway, so that was cool. I kind of learned about free enterprise through Junior Achievement. So again, really want to urge you to go over here, bid on some stuff. Let's raise some money for the kids, for JA, so we can teach more and more kids about JA. Again, my friend, Peggy Lee, Santa Peggy, she's on the board of JA, and if you want to know more about JA, go see Peggy, okay? We also take cash for the kids. You can write her a check if you want. It'll go right to JA. Are we ready? We're not ready yet. Okay, so.
We're ready. We're ready.
Oh, we're ready. We are ready. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to tell you a really quick story first. Dusty, where are you? Okay. Oh, somebody get rid of this. I'm making garbage. So, thank you very much. Good catch. Let's go back to like a year or so ago as I'm doing my events. I heard about Les Brown. I started checking out who Les Brown was. And as I'm looking and watching videos online of Les, I'm getting more and more excited. This guy just motivated me. Just from watching the video, I'm motivated. And so I started talking to some friends of mine that know Les. And I said, do you know Les? Yeah, I know Les. Yeah, I wanted to speak at one of my events. And they're like, okay, I'll try to, if I could get his phone number, if I could talk to him, I'm sure I could get him down here. And I could never get to him. He was like out here. I knew that if I talked to him, I could, give him my passion and how I want to give back and help the small business community that's really taking a hit. So I heard that Les Brown was going to be speaking at an event in Sacramento, along with Bill Cosby, Joe Montana, Dr. Clarice Fluitt, all these big names, Brian Tracy. So I thought, I'm going to go there, I'm going to meet Les Brown. I'm going to meet him. I get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now that doesn't start till like 9, I think. I get there at 6, they're setting up, I go in the back door, because they're all, and I get to know the people working there and got my best seat in the house, and I'm thinking, okay, now when it's, when Les, because I'm gonna meet him, and these people are gonna like me to, and I couldn't get backstage. All these people, 5,000 people showed up. I'm like, great, all these people showed up to my party, and how am I gonna ever meet Les? So Les is up there, he's speaking, he's giving it all, he's sweating, he's working it, and I am just like falling in love with this guy. I gotta meet Les. So I have a friend of mine, Bill Walsh. So I'm texting Bill. Now Bill he does huge events all over the world. He's in Chicago. Bill, I'm here, Les Brown's here, can you get me backstage? Figured, Bill can make things happen. He texts me back, Mel, security is really tight, can't get you backstage. I'm like, oh no, there's no way, I'm here, Les is here, I gotta meet him. So I started thinking, it's up to me. This is gonna happen, it's up to me. So I write a handwritten note, because I knew I'd gotten there early, right? I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, when the sun was still not even up yet. And I knew where they put the speakers in. So I write a note, hi Les, my name is Mel Vesley, I'm friends with Bill Walsh. I'd love to meet you. And I fold it up, and I go back around where they're bringing the speakers through, and I hand it to the security guy and said, will you give this to Les Brown? He goes, sure. So then he goes, you gotta get out of here, there's a security area. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. And as I'm walking away here, that's the guy. Now I didn't know whether to run or what. So I'm looking around, and here's Les standing there, and he motions me to come to him. And so I start walking over to him, and man, my heart's pounding. This is Les Brown. I mean, you all get to meet him. But I've been trying to meet this guy for a year. And my heart's pounding, I walk over, I put my hand up, and he grabs me. And he gives me this big hug, and his wet beard slides right up. And I'm like, I'm never washing my face again. I got Les Brown on me, right here, right? So he said, how you doing, great? And so he goes, walk with me. So he's walking, and I'm like a little kid. I'm walking behind him, like, I'm with Les Brown. And we go upstairs, and he goes, I gotta shoot a video real quick, give me your phone number. I'm like, I didn't get to tell him what I wanted to tell him. I didn't get to talk to him. Okay, here's my phone number, and I leave, and I'm thinking, that's it. I'll never hear from him again. The next morning, I'm looking at my phone, there's 2 phone numbers I don't recognize. So, call my voicemail. 10 o'clock that night, he calls me, I get this message. Hey Mel, this is Les Brown, I told you I'd call you, and I'm calling you. I missed it. 7 o'clock in the morning. Hi, Mel, this is Sprout calling you back. I missed it. I dial his number. He doesn't answer. I'm like, oh, all that, I missed it. See, I wasn't there. So I finally get a hold of him. Listen, this is what I do. I do these events. Would you come to Sacramento? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to come to Sacramento. And I said, okay, great. I said, he goes, this is what I charge. I'm like, oh. It went up like $5 grand from the last time I had heard what he charged. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. I do small, I do little events. I mean, small, fun events, but smaller. So he goes, what's your budget? I go, nothing. He goes, well, what can you do? And I said, nothing. And he goes, well, that's not going to work. And I said, well, I know, but I could probably do this. He goes, well, that's not going to work either. So anyway, he throws me a number. I said, okay, I'm thinking I can do that. I can sell it. I can make it happen, right? Because you got to say yes. Some of you say maybe, and you miss an opportunity. I said yes, and when I hung up the phone, cold sweat. I'm just sweating. I'm thinking, what did I just do? I said yes. There's no way this is ever going to happen. And my other brain's going, no. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm like, I had to say, I know in my heart this was the right thing to do. Anyway, he's here. So all of this, he's here for you guys. And I knew that I needed to bring Les Brown here for you because he's going to impact you in ways that you don't even know. You're going to leave here, you're going to be motivated to your core. You're going to fall in love with this guy, okay? I love him. And, I don't know what to say. I just want to go home with him. I'm going to see him and go home with him. So anyway, without further ado, let's get some music. Because I want to bring the king of motivation, the guy that rocks me to my soul, my new best friend. He doesn't know that, but I love him to death. I'm going to take him home. Get some music. I'm going to bring up the Mr. Les Brown. Thank you. Let's give Mel a tremendous round of applause. I'm so excited about being here and spending the time with you. How many of you have some major goals you want to achieve? Raise your hands, please. Fantastic. Shake someone's hand on your right and left. Look them in the eyes and say, you have something special. You have greatness within you. Do that to somebody else. Say, you have something special. You have greatness within you.
Can you do this? 2 minutes.
How many of you are entrepreneurs? Raise your hands. Entrepreneurs? How many of you are speakers? Raise your hands. Oh, you got the majority of speakers up in here. Excellent. How many of you are trainers? Raise your hands. Life coaches? Raise your hands. Okay. Very good. So we got a good assortment of everybody. All right. And I'm sure you all have some major goals you want to achieve. Am I correct on that? Yeah. Very good. Now I want to ask you another question. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands. Very good. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about 3 major goals that you have. One of the exciting things about Mel is that he had a vision and a dream of doing events of this nature that will give people, young people as well as adults, techniques and strategies that will allow them to reinvent themselves, to transform their lives, and to develop the resources and the ability to make their dreams become reality. Am I correct? And that's why you showed up. You showed up because there's something that you want to do. This is where you are, and this is the place where you want to go. Am I correct? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to think about 3 goals that you'd like to achieve. 3 goals. And when I talk to you about these things, I'm going to share with you strategies on how to make these things happen. Number 1, one personal goal that you'd like to achieve. What is one personal goal? I want you to write that down. My first personal goal was to buy my mother a home. That was important to me. And I'm one of 7 children that she adopted. And my mother was a domestic worker. I feel like Abraham Lincoln said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. That's how Simon Winston said, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And so I saw her working on Miami Beach. She was a domestic worker. She was cleaning homes. She kept children. And we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept.
she cooked for these families, and these are very kind and generous people. They would say, maybe whatever food is left over after we eat, you can pack it up and take it home to those 7 children that you have adopted. How many have somebody special you'd like to do something for? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I will share with you strategies on how you can make that happen. If you're a coach, if you're a speaker, if you're an entrepreneur, things that I know works. How many want to know what works? Raise your hands, please. I'm going to share with you things that I know work after going to seminar after seminar and reading books after book and spending thousands of dollars. I'm going to share with you some things that will put you in the fast track and make your dreams become real. Now I want you to think about your social contribution. What difference do you want to make with your life? I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to live a life of contribution. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. So I want you to think about what will be different for you and the planet as a result of your being born. You know, one of the goals I have is to reduce the number of women who die from breast cancer, because Mama was a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. So I donate to causes supporting research in breast cancer and participate in the cure demonstrations, the runs, the walks, and things of that nature. How many men over 40? Raise your hands, please. Very good. One of the goals I have is reduce the number of men who die from prostate cancer. I'm a 2-time prostate cancer conqueror. And last year this time, thank you. I stand before you because of God's grace and mercy. And trust me, it's better to be seen than to be viewed. Yeah, you feel it, brother, out there. So I encourage men every time I speak to get their PSA test. It's a prostate-specific antigen, and to get their digital rectal examination. And I'll be glad when they can check our prostate by looking in our ears. Can you feel it, brother? Up in here. I'm turning red, but y'all can't see it. I was at the medical convention. A friend of mine said, hey, Les, let me give you a free rectal. No, buddy, you too motivated. Women don't roll like that, you know? Oh my God, I'll be glad when they get another way to check that out, you know? I was at Florida Hospital last year. A young doctor just come in with a staff of other doctors, interns, and just reach for a glove and some petroleum jelly. I said, wait a minute, this is our first date. I don't even know your name. What's your mama name? You just can't roll up on a brother like this, you know? You can bring me some M&M peanuts and some potato chips and I get relaxed, you know? I'm serious. Oh God, I hate that test. Yeah.
I hear you, dude.
And I want you to think about, your voice. One of the goals I have is training 100,000 voices of hope. I'm known for training people how to take their story and how to make local and global impact, how to grow their businesses, how to increase their income, how to establish a national and international brand. I just came off a tour in Malaysia and Singapore, Perth and Adelaide, Australia, and Hong Kong, touring with Richard Branson. I'm going to share with you how that is something among the large stages that you can participate in as well. And then I want you to think about now your financial goals, your financial freedom number. What is that number? It's very important to know what that number is. People say, I want to make a lot of money. How much is that? You want to know, what does it mean to you? And I'm talking about being in a position where you're living beyond money, that money is not an issue. It doesn't come up in the conversation. I'm cancer-free, I'm debt-free, and drama-free. And that's important to me. You want to have walk-away money, that if you're doing something that you don't want to do anymore, walk away, And I did a radio show for CBS a year ago in LA. It's just 2 hours from 2 o'clock until 4. And it paid 6 figures. And I had a party for them, spent $600, bring the caterer in, and I said, I see you wouldn't want to be. And he said, why? I said, I don't want to come in here. This is too much like work. I said, if I could do it from home, fine. But coming in this building every day, no. I don't want to do that. And so I thank you. And I fed them all, had a good party for them, and left. I said, you're only on the air for 2 hours. This is a tough economy. We're paying you 6 figures. I said, I understand. And I don't need it. How many like to have walk-away money? Raise your hands, please. Yes, that's a good feeling to be able to do that. A lot of people stay on jobs that they don't like. And at the same time, they hope they don't get fired. That's what you call mixed emotions. Seeing somebody you hate drive off a cliff in your car. You're glad they're gone, but not in my car. Yes. So as you think about your goals and your dreams, your financial goals, the goal that you have of doing something for someone that's special to you, your social contribution, let us say together, it's possible.
It's possible.
Say it with conviction, it's possible.
It's possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to write that down as you think about your goals and dreams, because that's where the foundation of everything that you want to achieve, it starts right there. What I'm doing now, I didn't do it for 14 years. I used to go see Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, and different other speakers over the years that I admired. And my heart would beat real fast because I love to help people. How many of you love to help people? Raise your hands, please. And my heart would say, I can do that. And then by the time I would get to my car, walking in the parking lot, my mind would activate itself. And it would say, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You were labeled educable mentally retarded. You put back from 5th grade to the 4th grade. You failed again when you were in the 8th grade. You have no college training. You don't even know who your parents are. How many ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? Raise your hands, please. Yes. And so I didn't do it for 14 years because I didn't believe it was possible. I was suffering from possibility blindness. One night I was reading something, Dr. Howard Thurman, he was a mentor to Mahatma Gandhi and to Albert Schweitzer. He wrote Deep is the Hunger, the voice of the voice of the centered one. And he was a mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. One night I couldn't sleep after receiving 238 radiation seed implants, and my PSA was continuing to increase. Last year was at 1,850 around this time, and had metastasized to 7 areas of my body, and even 40% of my T1 vertebrae. My doctor said, you are truly God's miracle child, because now I'm cancer-free, and my PSA is down to 1. Yes. But reading his words, it really grabbed me, it gave me chills. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents, the gifts given to you by life, and you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never used those gifts. You never wrote that book. You never used those talents. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now, we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what abilities, what talents, what voice, what leadership, what gifts will die with you? Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. Maybe that's why one woman asked in a moment of anguish, what if you lived your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? Maybe that's why Miles Monroe out of Bahamas said, the wealthiest place on the planet, it's not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground, it's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. It's there we find potential never realized. dreams never pursued, talents and gifts never used. Everybody let us say together, live full.
Live full.
Die empty. Say it again, please. Live full.
Live full.
Die empty.
Die empty.
And I submit to you that this whole conference here, and the golden objective is to give you the tools and the techniques and to expand your vision of what's possible and to introduce you to strategic, resourceful relationships that you will allow yourself to live a full life, to not take any of the talents, ideas, inventions, and innovative processes and things that you have envisioned for yourself and for others. And so as you think about your goals and dreams, it's very important, I have found, that you have a strategy for working on yourself. Write this down. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. And so the process, you know, a very good friend here that I consider him my mentor in the area of sales, that the biggest sale that you will ever make is to sell yourself that you can do it. Eric Laughlin, I want to thank you for who you are. Give him a round of applause. He is very talented. And then selling yourself on yourself every day, that's the big sale. I remember when I had an opportunity to negotiate a major deal, and I panicked. I just didn't think that I had what it took. And people showed up with PowerPoint presentations, and there I was. I had a cardboard visual aid that I had rolled up and had a rubber band around it, and it was at Procter & Gamble, and something said, as I looked at these people with PhDs and MBAs, you're out of your league. You're in over your head. How many of you have been in a situation you allowed yourself to be intimidated? Raise your hands. And I had to get up and go in the bathroom and talk to myself. And I looked in the mirror and I said, Les Brown, let me tell you something. You can do this. You're Mamie Brown's boy. You've got 7 children to feed. You can make this happen. It doesn't matter about their degrees. What matters is, what are you going to do when you walk in that room? You didn't come this far to punk out on yourself. How many of you have to talk to yourself? Raise your hands. I had to talk to myself. And I went in there, and my look at the people who we had to do the presentation was, the only reason you were spared from birth control was to give me this contract. And I hired them as my consultants with their MBAs and their PhDs. Write this down. You've got to sell yourself on you. See, at the end of the day, people do not see life as it is. They see life as they are. And so I told myself that I was in over my head. And I had to reverse that negative conversation. I had to convince myself that I can do it. And I had you raise your hands, and when I asked you how many have major goals, and I had you shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you have something special. You have greatness within you. I don't even know you, but I know that about you based upon my own experience. And I know you've done things that you feel good about, things that you're proud of, but I can tell you unequivocally that whatever you've done is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for you. At this stage of my life, I'm 69 years old, and Melissa, Mel's daughter, said, oh, you look so good. You look younger than my father. She said it with such conviction, and I didn't want to break her heart. Because, you know, I don't have any gray hair. I don't dye my hair, but I do use mascara to cover the gray. So I said, well, Melissa, your father's not cheating, but I'm cheating. Right there say, Daddy, you look distinguished with your gray hair. I said, at 69, I'm not trying to look distinguished. I'm trying to look young. You have to look this stuff up sometimes. But I got to tell you this is serious. Let me tell you something. You got to really believe in yourself to do this. But I had a little bit short. But let me tell you, I had to give a speech in the Georgia Dome for Dexter Yeager, who is just an incredible human being. And so after my speech, somebody was from the Department of Commerce and said, Mr. Brown, do you have enough energy for another speech? And I said, no, I'm tired. She said, we can pay you a full fee of $25,000 an hour. I said, the Lord is able. You know, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. I've got a friend named Rita Davenport said money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homeless as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, he's got earlobes like Tom Cruise. He's got to walk like Denzel Washington, you know. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past the bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house, my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy say he ain't home. Oh my God. Oh, I hated people. Oh my God, I didn't like it at all. The roaches moved out the house. I ain't got no food. We out of here. So, but at any rate, they took me over to the Georgia World Congress Center. And I looked in the room, and it was a very intimate room, and the platform was close to the audience, just like I am right here. So I said, excuse me just a minute, because I've been perspiring, speaking to over 80,000 people. And I went in the restroom, and I looked in the mirror, and I started touching myself up, you know, trying to get it all together before I go in there. And so when I came in the room, she said, oh, there he is, Les Brown. And so she wanted everybody to know that I knew her. And as I stepped on the little platform, she held her cheek out. And I kissed her on the cheek and left this big black smudge. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat down. So the people down front started saying, there's something on your face. And she looked at me, she said, what are they saying? I said, I don't know. So finally, Melissa, one nosy lady, came up there, opened up her pocketbook, and gave her a mirror. Now, nobody asked her to do that. Getting in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor. She looks in the mirror, sees the big black smudge on her face, looks at me and says, how did this get here? I said, I don't know, you think maybe this rubs off? Now, the reason that I'm sharing this with you, if I kiss you on the cheek, don't worry, I now use waterproof Mademoiselle. Our brother's got to do what he's got to do. All right. So as you look at your goals and dreams, it's very important that you have a program that's on an ongoing basis that will begin to restructure your thinking. Trust me on this. You can never, ever overdo the job because there are thoughts and things in us that's affecting us that we're not even aware of. I woke up in the middle of the night. There was a movie on called Magnolia starring Tom Cruise. And there was a line in the movie. I've never seen the movie, but as far as I was concerned, that line was worth it for me to wake up. How many of you ever saw a movie and you heard something that grabbed you? Raise your hands. And this line was, we might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. That's worth writing down. We might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us. See, what most people don't know, that we are between 0 and 5. We are influenced by our parents, by the school system, by religious institutions, by our environment, by our circumstances, and through those influences, we develop a voice in our heart. And that voice will be either yes, or that voice will be no. And that voice shows up in our lives at an unconscious level. Studies indicate that over 90% of our negative self-talk goes undetected by the conscious mind. And that's why we have to work on ourselves every day. This is one of the reasons that my goal is to train 100,000 voices of hope. 100,000 voices outside of politics, outside of religion, both of which I believe unwittingly polarize and divide people. Just average, everyday people. Teach them how to use their story to give people hope. Write this down. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. We need voices of hope now more than ever before. For the first time in the history of this country, suicides in this country has eclipsed the number of people that are killed by car accidents. and cancer. The suicide rate is at an all-time high. Why? Because people see themselves powerless in the face of being laid off, powerless in the face of losing money that they've been saving, losing their retirement, powerless in finding themselves being in a position of never having, powerless. I was talking to an attorney today, and she started crying when I was talking about the statistics and asking her to collaborate with me on doing some more research in this area, and she said, "You don't know, but on my birthday you saved my life." Because for the first time in my life, I was going to kill myself. I'm an attorney. I graduated from UCLA. I've put out over 170 applications. I've not gotten one response. For the first time in my life, I've lost my home. I was in a car accident. The person that was sharing the mortgage with me moved out. And for the first time in my life, I can't afford to buy groceries or gas for my car. You have no idea how humiliated I was when I asked you for $5 for gas and pretended that I just left my credit card at home. I was going to end my life the day that you called me and said, "Judge not according to appearances. You can come back from this." And so there are people who have given up. People who've thrown in the towel on themselves. I've been among people who were just like I was, identified and diagnosed as being terminal. One of the things I think the doctor should never tell a patient they're terminally ill. What they should say is that my knowledge and ability to help you is terminated. Because what happens is that when a person hears those words, that compromises their immune system about 40%. 85% of people die from a doctor's prognosis that they would not have died from. See, they determine the diagnosis, God determines the prognosis. Does that make sense? Yes. And so I believe with 100,000 voices of hope, giving people hope, number one. Number two, write this down, giving people methods. The reason that people are feeling powerless, and the reason that there are people that are killing themselves, they don't see themselves having the capacity to come back. And while what Mel is doing, this kind of work, in giving people the opportunity to be exposed to speakers and trainers and people that are resourceful, people that can help them develop the opportunity for themselves to create their opportunities. If you can't find a job, you have the capacity to create one with just the information that you've been exposed to right here. There's no shortage of opportunity. There's a shortage of thinking. And so experiences of this nature will allow you to go to the next level and get some breakthroughs that you could not get by yourself. And also what Mel has done is creating a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. You can't make it by yourself today. 72% of corporations are striking strategic partnerships. And so it's very important, and he practices that. He has people with expertise and skills that he does not have, and that allows him to stay in his lane and do what he does best. And all of us need that. You have to see yourself as the CEO of your corporation and continuously work on your mind, continuously expand your skill set. There's no shortage of opportunity. There's a shortage of the skill set, a shortage of thinking to take advantage of the opportunities that are available. There are people who believe that opportunity knocks on every door. I don't believe that. I believe that opportunity stands by silently waiting for us to recognize it. And so I can say to you that you have something special. You have greatness within you. And as you begin to look at yourself, write this down. Set up camp outside of your comfort zone. See, you'll never discover your greatness by being comfortable. We're living in an incredible time. Marion White said, in life, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. Many of you have been fired from jobs because you've outgrown those jobs. It was time for you to move on. You just didn't have the courage to do it. I talked to someone yesterday. She said that when they fired her, she saw it coming. She knew, and so she had already had a plan B in operation. And what it did was, on that particular day, she made the decision to start doing that which she knew that she should have been doing all along. So we're living in an incredible time. The 40-40 plan is gone, where you can go to college, graduate, get a job, work 40 hours a week for 40 years. How many of you know that's gone? The other thing is that as we look at ourselves, look at our goals and dreams, that many of us who wanted to retire will not retire because they can't. And that's a good thing, because you have some gifts in you that the universe said, we're going to get this out of you one way or the other. You're not going to leave here with that potential, with that dream, with that business, with that idea in you. Your stuff is not through yet. So I'm going to take this retirement. I'm going to just clean you out. And you're going to start calling on me unlike ever before. It's amazing when you're out of money and when you don't have your health, how spiritual you become. I was calling on Jesus, Yahweh, Allah, Melchizedek. I was speaking in tongues. I was chanting, Noma Yo Ho Great Gekio. I was calling on everybody. I'll never forget, well, I tell you, it's amazing what you do when you think you're about to leave. I was driving and Robert Schuller was on the radio, and he said, I've got a special prayer cloth. And he said, send me $3 and I will send you this prayer cloth, and it is a miracle healing prayer cloth. Ordinarily, I'd have changed the channel, but I was busy driving. I didn't pay any attention. And this, they had testimony. This guy said, you know, I had whiplash, and I sent in my $3, and I got that prayer cloth, and I put it on my neck, and I'm healed in the name of Jesus. And I said, whatever, you know. And then a lady came on, and she said she had arthritis, and she hurt her back in a car accident, and she put the prayer cloth on her, and she was healed in the name of Jesus. That's how I'm about to turn the channel. I've had enough of this. And then a guy said, I had prostate cancer. Got my undivided attention. My PSA was over 2,000. And I got the prayer cloth, and I used it, and I was healed in the name of Jesus. But I pull over, and I sent him $150 and sent me a prayer blanket. They sent me this big box, and they had the prayer cloth all cut up little pieces, you know? And the instructions said, put it on the affected area. So I stuffed it in my underwear. Now, y'all say this about, y'all talk about this outside the room, I will deny it. I'm going to take this video, but this is the truth. So I was speaking in Detroit to over 3,000 people. And when I'm on stage talking to a lot of people, I move around a lot. You got to be hungry as you look at your goals, as you look at your dreams. You got to work on yourself. And as I was talking, all of a sudden people were laughing, cracking up, looking behind me. I turned around, and the prayer cloth had come down about there and had a big trail. I said, y'all can laugh if you want to. I picked up the prayer cloth, got behind the podium, and put it right back in. I got some today, but I'm still here. Let me tell you something. This thing called life, stuff happens you can't anticipate. Am I right? You just stuff you just did not anticipate. I figured out 2 weeks ago, I just talked to him on Monday. He was gone Wednesday. And he was not one of those kind of guys that would die. He was a very lively guy, a fine boy. And so the thing is that, let us say again, live full.
Live full.
Die empty. We don't know how much time we have. Write this down. Become a risk taker. See, the reason that most people don't discover their greatness, they go through life playing it safe. Here's what I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. There's no safe position in life. You can't get out of life alive. You're going to die anyhow. Don't die for nothing. And so this God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? And God said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so as you look at yourself and look at your goals, let us say together, it's possible.
It's possible.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
That I upgrade my relationships. Yeah, see, the greatest impediment to your living your dream and manifesting your greatness, your closest relationships. Write this down, OQP. Only quality people. Only quality people. If you're serious about your goals and dreams, it's very important that you look at your relationships and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? MIT did a study. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. When I found that out, I got rid of a lot of broke people in my life. My mama said, if you run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you become number 10. So you have to upgrade your relationships. And that's why what Bell is doing is bringing together a community of collaborative, achievement-driven relationships that's resourceful and that can help you do some things that you can never do by yourself. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah, so OQP, only quality people. There are 2 types of relationships. There are nourishing relationships and there are toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they bring the best out of you. They challenge you. They hold you accountable. Toxic relationships drain you. There's a new term in psychiatry called relational illness. There's some people that can make you sick. Well, Les, can I change you? No, it's a full-time job changing yourself. And there's some people that are so negative they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. Oh, behave. And so, write this down. Let go or be dragged. Let go. There's some behaviors that you have to let go if you want to go to that next level. There's some habits that you've got to let go of if you're going to begin to soar to new heights. There's some people that you've got to let go of because they're going to compromise your strength and your power and your energy. They're going to sabotage you. It takes courage to let them go. So let's say, let go. Let go. Or be dragged. Or be dragged. And sometimes it be family members. Might even have to be your kids. That will drive you crazy if you allow them. They have their own journey. And they have to make their own choices. I had to find out the hard way that I could not live my children's lives. And I had to have the courage. There's a difference between mother love and smother love. There's, and father love and smother love. There's a difference. And I had to let them go. And, I told my sons, you can't be independent and dependent too. I'm not going to subsidize crazy thinking. I'm not going to do that. Make it happen. Figure it out, son. You're so smart, figure it out. You have to do that, and it takes courage to do that. But at the end of the day, write this down. Cover your own back. I found out the older you get, the more you need to focus on your health, on strategic relationships, and under strategic relationships, write this down. Don't make somebody a priority who's made you an option. Don't make somebody a priority who's made you an option. You need strategic relationships that you know you can count on, and they can count on you. Work on your health, strategic relationships, and make as much money as you can. One sickness, I never cared anything about making money. Never wanted to be rich, I just wanted to be comfortable. How many of you know if you want to be comfortable, how many of you would like to be comfortable? Raise your hands, please. Trust me, if you want to be comfortable, you've got to be rich. One sickness can wipe out a fortune. I'm telling you what I know. And make it important to earn a lot of money. If I didn't have money, I would be dead. I was able to pay for the best medical care. And I was getting acupuncture and chiropractic treatment and all type of massages for excruciating pain in my back. And then the doctors gave me Percocet and Vicodin. And fortunately, the person I was with who became the wellness director for Florida Hospital, the largest hospital system in the world, said, you need to come in here, Les, and I believe in alternative methods, but you need to practice conventional medicine too. And sure enough, I had cancer metastasized in 7 areas of my body and had eaten 40% of my T1 vertebrae. I was doing 142 push-ups on stage consecutively, saying to people, take care of yourself. And cancer was in my body, and I didn't even know it. Had no idea until I started getting this pain, and I thought I had strained myself on stage. when at the end of the day, what happened to cancer was eating a T1 vertebrae. I didn't even know. You know, we said, what you don't know can't hurt you. What you don't know can kill you. What you don't know can make you broke. How many know that? Am I making sense of you? I'm not your traditional motivational speaker. Now, let us say together, it's possible.
It's possible.
Let us say together, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
To make yourself stand out. Write that down. As an entrepreneur, as a speaker, as a trainer, as a coach, you have to make yourself stand out. You'll never hear another speaker like me. I study. I know what I'm talking about. I own this space. And I'm telling you, I work at it. I read 2 to 3 books a week. I don't get up and regurgitate some memorized script. When I got into this industry and I wanted to be a major player, I had to think of a way what would make me stand out. So when I went to see Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, I noticed they all had they would say the same thing. Oh, I knew when Zig was going to kneel. I knew when he's going to come to the end of the stage. If you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. And so I said, what I will do that will make me stand out is study so that I can incorporate quotes and studies and humor and different techniques and strategies in my presentation that will make it stand out. Write this down. Create memorable moments. As speakers and as trainers, the market is wide open. When I came in, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale was alive. Charlie Tremendous Jones, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Stephen Covey. It's wide open. It's time for new voices everywhere. And so, and it's an incredible market. It's a $60 billion market. Highest paid profession in the world. And so, and I'm going to share with you what will happen when you make it your business. And write this down. Get some coaching. And write this down. Not just coaching. From trained, accomplished eyes. Somebody that's trained and accomplished. There are people that's making millions of dollars off people who want to be speakers. And nobody's ever hired them to speak. They just make their money off speakers. That's how they make their money. They make the people who want to speak, and because they are great marketers, people go to them. And there's a thing now in speaking about how to sell from the stage, or how to speak to sell. Write this down. Speak to change lives. That's what you want to do. That's what I say. Now you can follow them if you want to. And I've earned millions of dollars doing this. I never got up to speak to sell. I don't care if I was about to come in here and Mel says, you brought any products with you? No, I did not. No. I know this is a program that's very important for him, and I came here to give value to you. You want me as a coach, as a consultant, fine. If you don't, fine. I'm not coming here looking for a quick buck. I got a mission.
Come on
If
now.
I leave the planet, God spare me. God did not spare my life for me to increase my sales. Am I making sense to you on this?
Yeah.
You know how many people gone? Gone. Steve Jobs, he's gone. He had more money than the United States Treasury. And I'm still here. You think that I came in here to check to see how many heads there, how much money I can make per head? Let me tell you something. I'm wealthy. I'm still here. I'm not feeding worms. I am still here. And you know I'm the deal.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and and I don't say it because it's true, but it's true because I said it. I love this. Can you tell I love this?
Yeah.
Can you tell this is my room, but this is why I was here? Yeah. See, the two most important moments of your life are the day that you're born and the day you realize why you were born. And so when you find that, when you find that which you are supposed to do, it keeps you young. It gives you favor. I've come through, my doctors are amazed at how could you, your PSA 1,850. I've never seen that before. And look, and then I'm talking about 2 months ago. And in 17 years of fighting and battling with cancer, the first time they said, you have no cancer in your system. And what I've been doing is, 1, working on my mindset, 2, made a radical change in my eating. I feel like a silly wagon. I eat broccoli and asparagus, plant-based diet. It's very important. Plant-based diet. It's very important. You've got to be disciplined. Write this down. Nothing tastes as good as health feels.
That's right.
Nothing tastes as good as health feels. Now, what I'm going to do, how much time do I have? Check my time, please.
How much time do you want?
Yeah.
Flow, man. Go.
Yes, I want to show you something. Yes, sir. I got 20 minutes left?
No.
You're kidding. Oh my God. I want to show you something. I want to show you something about, there is something, there are dimensions about yourself that I have discovered. And write this down. 2 things that I want to leave you with. 1 is you have an energy signature. And in our training, we go deep on that. Now, because you are all, how many of you are friends of Mel? Raise your hands, please. Friends of Mel. Very good. Okay. I've been tithing to the universe because God has been so good to me. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a gift because you're a friend of Mel. All you have to do is just say, I'm a friend of Mel, okay? But I'm going to give you a demonstration of what you're going to get. But you have an energy signature, number 1. Number 2 is you have a story in you that you can create impact for people. And so I'm going to share with you how to leverage a story. But let me just show you play this promo for me, please. I'm going to show you a promo video for just a minute. Yeah, volume. Don't forget the volume on. It's okay. We rebuke every retarded demon that's still around this place.
World-renowned speaker, entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Les Brown rose from humble beginnings to become a leading broadcast and platform personality, recipient of an Emmy, and dubbed one of the world's top 5 speakers by Toastmasters International. His captivating delivery, incorporating humor, insights, and proven techniques, teaches, inspires, and challenges his viewers to ultimate levels of achievement.
I know something about you, even not knowing you, that you've got greatness within you. You have the ability to do things that you can't even begin to imagine. You have talents and skills in you that you haven't even begun to reach for yet. The ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never acted on those ideas. You never pursued that dream. You never used those talents. We never saw your leadership. You never used your voice. You never wrote that book. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. Now we must die with you forever. The question is, if you die today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts will die with you? Maybe that's why Jim Rohn said, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering the new mountain, not sliding down and over. Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential.
If you want to make your dream become reality, the people that are running at their dreams know that it's possible that you can live your dream, that it's necessary, that you're relentless, that you have a plan of action, that you are creative.
See, there are two types of relationships. There are nourishing relationships and toxic relationships.
Now what you
nourishing relationships, they nourish you, they bring the best out of you. They challenge you, they hope.
Now, remember I said about you have an energy signature? Now write this down. Energy creates an experience. What it is that's going to separate you. What separated me from Zig Ziglar, Dr. Dennis Waitley, Tony Robbins, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. And what will separate you is your energy signature that will drive and orchestrate an experience for the audience. Now hear me clearly on this as we're winding down. When I came into this industry, it was primarily, and still is to a very large extent, an information dump. People get up and talk and give people a lot of information. Ladies and gentlemen, if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. How many speakers in here? Raise your hand, speakers. Listen to the old man on this. They don't bring you in for information, and you study. If they wanted information, they can go online and get it. They don't even have to go to the library. Am I making this up? They can Google the information. Am I making sense to you on this? So what it is you want to do is tap into your energy signature, because my energy signature is different than yours. There's some people that when I speak, they're going to hear me. But there's some people, what is your name? Your first name, sir? Yes. Sig. Sig. And some people say when you speak, they're going to hear you because of your energy signature and because of your story. All right? So I had to find a way, because I didn't have the money. My mother was suffering from breast cancer. I resigned from the Ohio legislature. I spent every dime I had to keep her alive. 95% of the people who filed bankruptcy last year did so because of medical expenses. There are many talented speakers that I've seen who never showed up on the radar because they did not know what I'm telling you right now. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how it's used and how it's pulled out. So you have an energy signature, and you use your energy signature to direct and to orchestrate an experience for the audience. Now, why is that important? The story is to be used two ways. Write this down. Number one, to be strategic. And two, to be experiential. Why? Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. Does that make sense to what I'm saying? And so your goal is, where the speakers? Raise your hands again. Yes, come, let me talk to you. Come, sir. You're right here. This is quick. What is your name, sir?
Matthew Stewart.
Matthew, how long have you been speaking?
About a year and a half, 2 years.
What do you speak on, Matthew?
Right now, changing people's lives financially through network marketing.
Through network marketing. How did you, so what is the message that you give them?
That they have hope, and it is possible for change.
And so when you start off a presentation, give me an example.
Generally, I try to connect with the
Let's
audience.
pretend we're starting right now. We're starting.
Okay, great. Thank you. I want to welcome all of you here and congratulate you for taking the time, because you certainly would have something else that you could be doing today, right? We have busy lives, all of us. But there's a reason that you're here. And the reason that you're here is because you're looking for change. There's all kinds of different reasons that each individual person is here looking for in regards to change, right? Some of you may be looking for more money. Some of you may be looking for more time.
Okay, now I want you, let's watch this. Matthew. Okay. Matthew, what happened in your life at a crucial point that you began to come to the conclusion of your philosophy and your approach to life?
It was about 10 years old, and I was in a Sunday school class, and at first it was realizing that that there was more to life than just the years that we have on this planet, that there was an eternal life, and that I was missing out on that.
Tell me something that you've gone through yourself. Something that happened when you decided, I want to teach people how to begin to manage their lives, to work on creating wealth for themselves. What's a moment in your life that you realize practical things that you use in your own life that you're going to help share with others? Tell me three. Tell me the situation, though. Tell me about you. Don't tell me about church. Tell me about you. I don't want to know about you. God said, Adam, where are you? He didn't ask where Jesus was. He didn't ask where the Bible. He said, where are you? He wanted him to think. So I want you to think. Tell me about the experience in your life that brought you to a point and you learned something from that experience. As a result, you were never the same again.
Yeah, about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I went through a divorce. My entire life, I wanted to be married. Thought I'd be married at 22 and have a child and white picket fence and really accomplish some things. It didn't happen. At 30, I got married to a wonderful woman, and about 34, she ended up leaving and said, "I can't do this anymore," and absolutely rocked my world and completely changed me because.
But tell me you use three adjectives. What are the three things that you can look at Matthew's life and say, this is how you change? What were those three things that changed?
Humility would be one.
You became humble?
I think I'm still working on becoming humble, and I get opportunities all the time. Patience. I was always someone that just, and I would say, I don't know if I've always had the aspect of having drive and a very good work ethic. So I don't know if that necessarily changed, but.
But what is it that's changed about you so that Matthew will not repeat in future relationships? Because whatever happens in our relationships, where we find ourselves at some point in time, we make a point to be there. So you played part in that too. So what is it that you looked at yourself and said, this is something I'm going to change about me in the future?
Yeah. Probably one of the biggest things was the aspect that my desire, I guess it would be first and foremost my own desires. The desire so strong of being married, where I ended up kind of selling myself to her. And I know we always say, oh yeah, I sold myself. But I wasn't truly authentic in the aspect of what I was presenting, because I was presenting for what I wanted rather than what was potentially best for her.
Got it.
And
Give
us.
Matthew a round of applause. How many have those if you want to choose? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want you to think about that right now. Let us say together, I can do that. How many of you ever said, I can do that, and you experience some disappointment as a result of that? Raise your hands, please. You know, I got married at age 30. And at the time that I got married, I married someone that I was in love with and was in love with me. And when we said I do, till death do us part, I meant that. I said in my heart of hearts, I can do that because I love her. And something happened. Something happened. Something that I never envisioned. You know, my favorite book said, think it not strange that you face the fiery furnaces of this world. How many of you know you're going to go through some stuff? Raise your hands, please. And I went through something. The person that I said I wanted to be with for the rest of my life said, I can't do this anymore. And it humbled me. You know, in life, it'll make you, and sometimes it will break your spirit. It will break your heart. Have you ever gone through something like that? Raise your hands, please. And that's what happened for me. And now, because of limited time, let me just pause here. But here's why I write this down. It's very important that when you are speaking to an audience, the audience is asking three things. Who are you? what do you have? And why should I care? The way Matthew started off is like most speakers do. They start off with what they have. They can start off giving advice. You don't know the audience like that to give advice. And they don't know you. They're asking, who are you to be giving me advice? You don't know me like that. And so you want to give them some insight into you. And strategically use your story to navigate an experience so that they experience your heart. Because words spoken from the heart into the heart. When you start talking about your divorce, how many of you felt a shift in this energy? Raise your hands. Am I making sense with this? When you was just up here giving a talking head, giving advice, nobody felt that because that's up here. People, they want to feel you. Am I making sense on this? And so, give me a slide presentation. I'm going to just line this up quickly. I'm going to show you how you just take something very simple. So when I started out this presentation, I started out saying, you know, I was born in the poor. I said, how many goals you have? Remember I asked you that? And then I said, and so I'm strategic. I said, I want you to think about 3 goals. Number 1, a personal goal. Remember I said that? I said, and then I brought in my story. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida, called Liberty City with a twin brother. I'm adopted. I feel like Abraham Lincoln said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. That God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And that my mother was a domestic worker at Miami Beach. She worked for families. She cooked for these families. We ate food left over from the family she cooked for. I wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. Remember I told you all that? Guess what I was doing? Strategically, I'm giving you some insight into me. Am I making sense on this? Okay? And then I ask you, how many of you have somebody special you'd like to do something for? Raise your hands, please. And then write this down. Create a bridge. Because now, you never make a point without a story. You never tell a story without a point. So now you want to bring the audience into the conversation so that they're now thinking about who is it in their life that they want to do something for. Then I asked, what's your financial freedom number? Remember I asked that question? And said, think about it. All right? And then I said, you know, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. I strategically used laughter. I said, creditors call and check my house, and my children say, my daddy stay here at home. Remember I had you laughing about that? All that's done in a strategic way to create an experience. And what happens is those areas of your life and what you went through and your drive and what came out of you as a result of that, people will feel that and they will want to be with you because you touch their heart. What's spoken from the heart enters the heart. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. And so the other thing is this. Never make a point without a story and never tell a story without a point. Did I give you that? I gave you that, right? Okay. Then I ask you, remember, what are the 3 questions the audience is asking? Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so the reason that most speakers fail and never make the radar is because of the fact that they don't answer those questions up front so that you establish, and write this down, you're creating a relationship of trust and confidence in you so that people will have a reason to listen to you. You want to create the committed listening so that they won't go anywhere, and you strategically bring their dream into it. I said, what is your social contribution? Why? Because some people want to make a difference. They don't want to make any money. They want to make a difference. What is it that you feel special about? Some people got children that they would like to educate or grandchildren like to do something for. What is your financial goals? Some people have financial goals, but a combination of all 3. So when you put those things there and said, I'm going to share with you how you can make that happen, now they have a vested interest in listening to you and following along. Does that make sense? Give me the clicker, please, so I can go through the slide presentation. Did you pull it up?
I'm done.
You don't have the slide presentation.
Minute.
Okay, it's okay. It's all right then. Yes, but you're not a menace. You're a minister. All right. Any questions? I see it, and we end up. Yes. Any questions, please? Yes.
What if your story has some tinges of sadness? And I know there's a way to do it, so I'm just interested in your thoughts on that.
If the story has sadness, if you remember, you want to be strategic with the story. Because it's not really about the story, about your story, as much as you got to ask the question, what value, write this down. Your goal and objective with your story is to create value and impact for the audience. It's not for a platform for therapy for yourself.
Well, that's what I know.
I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but there are people who do that.
Yeah.
So what we do is teach you how to use parts of the story, because you don't have to tell everything. Because if you tell it, what I've seen amateurs do, they don't know how to use the story strategically. They tell too much, and the audience can't forget it. They can't move on in the rest of the conversation. They're still stuck in the story because that person wasn't coached and trained. You know, Muhammad Ali said he's the greatest in the world. He never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. Michael Jordan never won a championship without Phil Jackson. You want to get somebody who knows, who's trained and accomplished, that can show you how you can use that strategically so that you can create value and impact with an audience. Write this out. Impact drives requests and it drives income. So my whole thing is, I do a thing called You Gotta Be Hungry. So, thank you, sir. And so when you look at, I start off with a story about my mother. And then I talk about our background. That's my brother, Wesley, now. Eating sugar cane. Anybody ever ate sugar cane? Anybody do that? Yeah. Yeah, okay, very good, okay. Mom, you know, Donald Trump, father gave him $200 million. My mother gave us 2 pieces of sugar cane. But we had an advantage over Donald Trump. If somebody gives you $200 million, don't you have a good shot at becoming rich? Raise your hand. All right. All I have is 2 pieces of sugar cane. But let me show you what we did with it. So what happened is, how you live your life is a result of the story you believe about yourself. I met Mike Williams that I talked with yesterday, who's still been my coach and consultant and strategist for 43 years. He changed my story. I just saw myself as a disc jockey, was very successful at it, love radio. But he said, you have greatness within you. And he expanded my vision of myself. So I went from being a disc jockey to, I became a concert promoter. And these little guys came to town. They had a song out called I Want You Back. That's Michael Jackson at 10. That's me standing in the back, weighing 173 pounds. I put the Jackson 5 in Columbus, Ohio. Now, when you shake somebody's hand and say you have something special, you don't know whose hand you shook. Because I didn't know who they were going to become, and they didn't know who I was going to become. You know, the person whose hand you shook, you don't have any idea who they're going to become. And so, how many like to make a difference in your community? Part of what I'm doing is why I want to train 100,000 voices at home. I ran for the Ohio legislature. I was elected in 3 terms, became the chairman of the Human Resource Committee. I passed 14 bills my first term. And so I had no idea that I had the ability to do that. And then I resigned and went back to take care of my mother. My brothers and sisters wanted to put her in a nursing home. And I said, no. They said, we knew you were going to say that. But we have interviewed the best nursing homes all of Dade County. I said, don't touch her. I resigned from the Ohio legislature and I went home. So I had a problem with that. How can one woman raise 7 children who couldn't raise themselves, but 7 grown people couldn't take care of 1 woman? Oh, no. I said, hell to the no. So I had to go to Miami and take care of Mama and spend every dime I had. She passed at 89. She's a 22-year breast cancer conqueror. They told me I was a fool to give up my political ambitions. I was going to run for the Senate, for Congress, for Lieutenant Governor. I didn't care anything about that. But I had my vision of myself. If you can tell your story, I took that story and I decided to become a speaker. I was at an event, and it had 14 years, and I was at this event to keep my spirits high, and this speaker was boring. I was seated in the audience. Everybody went to sleep but me. I was saying, I should have been doing this. And then he said something that I'll never forget. He said, I know that I'm not exciting. I know I don't have a lot of passion, a lot of energy. He said, but the reason I'm seated out here, I'm standing up here, and you're seated out there, is I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself. Whoa. Whoa. Ow. I jumped up and started pacing back and forth. I went out, I called Mike Williams. I said, Mike, he said, Les, what's wrong? I said, I'm ready, man. He said, I can hear it. He said, give me a ticket, I'll fly out and see you. I said, I'm ready. He said, I know, man, I know, Les. I've been waiting for this call for a long time. I wanted to be on stage with Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. I had no idea the things you're doing right now that will benefit you in the future. When I was in the 5th grade, I was a part of a project, Kids in Special Education, sent him a quote. Mine won. My quote was, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. You'll find it on bookmarkers and posters. He loved it. Every time he ended his speech, he ended it with that quote. I wanted to be on stage with him. And I never forget the first time I met him. I went to Og Mandino, who wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, got trapped in an airport. He says, Les, could you take my place? I said, what? I got to open for Dr. Norman Vincent Peale in Kankakee, Illinois. I went there, came to the back of the theater. I said, hi, my name is Les Brown. The guy said, you're not the band leader? I said, no, I'm not. He said, well, who are you? I said, Miss Mamie Brown's baby boy. So he said, Martha, Dr. Peale's wife. He said, Les Brown is here, and it's not the band leader. She said, it's not? No. So when I came in, she said, whoa. She said, Pops, Les Brown is here, and it's not the band leader. And his back was to me. He said, Les Brown, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Sir, I sent that to you when I was in 5th grade. I'm 38. I remember that. I love that quote. I end my speeches with that quote. And so a young guy was there, like you, man, Matthew. He said, Dr. Peale, how old are you? He said, Sonny, I'm 94. He said, I don't know if I want to live to get 94. He said, that's because you've never been 93. How many of you have a college education? Raise your hands, please. I don't have a college education. How many of you ever given a lecture at Harvard? Raise your hands. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, that's in my future. Do that right now. Say, that's in my future. Yeah. When you learn how to tell your story, it creates credibility. So I just finished doing this tour with Richard Branson. He has credibility in his area, but I have credibility in mine with my story. You got a story. I'd love to work with you. You got a story in you. Trust me, that stuff you talking, that ain't the real stuff. You got something in you. Can you see it in you? Yeah. You got presence. I can snatch that power voice out of you. I'm an assassin. I'll kill every mediocre demon in you. I produced 8 specials for public television. And King World paid me $5 million to do a talk show and $2 million not to speak. I don't tell you this to impress you, but to impress upon you. It's no accident that you're in this room. I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. That's right. The only reason you're in this room right now is because you're ready to play a bigger game. That's right. This is your time. Trust me on this. I won the highest award from the National Speakers Association. I had no idea. There are things you're going to do you don't have a clue right now. Toastmasters Golden Gavel Award. Had no idea. Won that. Then they selected the top 5 speakers in the world. General Norman Schwarzkopf, Lee Iacocca, Robert Schuller, Paul Harvey. You ever heard of these guys? And then that's right, me right there. Had no idea. Had no idea. I just got back. When I speak internationally, I get $125,000 an hour. I'm here on a Mel Kmart special. Robert Kiyosaki and T. Howard Eckert. That's in July 20th and 21st. I just did this one here. How do you pronounce that? Kuala Lumpur, yeah. And let me tell you what, the reason I'm sharing this with you is this is my social media person. I'm just saying to you, who would have thought, looking at us, that what's your story? That your story, the way you live your life is a result of the story you believe about yourself. That what we do is write this down, and I'll end on this. Distract, dispute, and inspire. This is what I train you to do. Distract. We distract people from their stories. Through the execution of your story, you dismantle their limited belief system, and you inspire them, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter with their lives. So I want to leave this with you. I don't know what you want to do. Here's what I know. You're in the right place at the right time with a person who has integrity, has vision, and has a commitment to your manifesting your greatness. Let's give Mel another round of applause. Thank him for inviting me, and I want to leave this with you and your dreams. For those of you who have a Mel is your friend. I'm doing a training from 9 o'clock until 9 tomorrow night. And it's part of my tithing. I am so grateful. I had a little scared. The pain was not the little seed. So at any rate, I said, I'm tithing the universe. So you just say, I'm a friend of Mel. Just come free. And I'm doing this training. People paid to be there. So don't come say, I got free because Mel. You're not a friend of Mel, so you paid. All right, please don't do that. You'll get me in trouble with this that she already gave me. I'm going to leave this with you. It's right across the airport. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, famine should go, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. If dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it. With the help of God, you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Mel's pride and joy. God bless you, and God bless you indeed. Thank you. Good, Les Brown.
Let's take a 5-minute quick break. So those of you who want to say hi to them can do that. Let's take 5 minutes to get the music pumped up. And that was, man, I'm teared up. I love it.